So our first speaker, Robert Sofia, will be telling us how to conclusively persuade an audience in just 5 minutes, which is convenient because that's all he has. Speakers, make sure to speak straight into the microphone. Here we go.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Well, first of all, I just want to establish that I am not a person who believes in myths and legends. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in a zombie apocalypse. I don't believe Kanye West is Illuminati. I don't believe Kennedy is alive. I do not believe these things. However, I do believe in the Kraken. Does anybody else believe in the Kraken? Okay, we have a few Kraken believers. That's good. So this mythological beast traditionally destroys ships. Not popular with sailors, but very, very cool. Why do I believe in the Kraken? It's science. I've actually become convinced recently of its existence because some smart people, a lot smarter than me, have been researching the Kraken. Like this guy, who's a zoologist at the Smithsonian. And he's been going on these excursions and finding evidence of Kraken that are gigantic. Squid, octopus, 65 feet long, and over a ton in weight. So they're finding evidence of this all over the oceans. So I started researching it further, and I discovered that in fact, the ones they're finding alive are 45 feet inland. And they're finding them in the twilight zone of the ocean, which is not very deep. It's between like 300 feet and 6,000 feet. But that's as deep as they can get. So what happens when you go deeper into the ocean? So there's this thing called deep sea gigantism. And my slides are screwed up, so just listen to what I say. Probably makes no sense. So that's a snow crab. Those legs are really big. That's a whale shark. It's like 20 times normal size. They found in Pakistan back in 2014. Because when it's deeper and they metabolize more slowly, they live longer and they get much larger. So this is a documented scientific phenomenon. So if the Kraken in the twilight zone of the ocean are already 45 feet, if you go deeper into the abyss of the ocean and they're 20 feet, or 20 times, or 50 times bigger, that puts them at hundreds and hundreds of feet long, which means that they could actually sink a ship. Pretty scary. And when you think about the fact that we only know a little bit about our oceans, in fact, we've only explored 5% of our oceans. So we know more about the surface of Mars, we know more about the surface of the moon than we do our own oceans. So we're not talking about this mythological creature of Hollywood lore, Kraken, but we're talking about a giant octopus, a giant squid, which is well documented by sailors from the 1800s who would see these, like this poor guy who escaped with his bare life and was able to document this octopus eating his ship in 1812. So, based on that, who now agrees that giant octopus or squid that superstitious people in the past thought were malevolent beasts actually exist? Okay, so I convinced some weak-minded people. Okay, so what do we learn? Well, first of all, I told you I was convinced myself. That was the first thing, which established my credibility because I told you that I'm a cynical person and I'm not easily convinced. Second, I documented with facts, statistics, and expert research to say, okay, it's not just me as a naive person telling you, but there's something to back this up. And then, I even told you some stories. I told you about the scientist who's gone on these excursions. I told you about the guy who found the giant crab and the giant whale shark. And then I told you about some things like a guy who survived an attack from a real Kraken. So we did all these things and it changed the room. More of you became convinced. So this is called the 3 pillars of persuasion. That's what we've used. Are you familiar with those? So the first one, ethos, refers to ethics. That's my credibility. So in any content we ever develop for ourselves or anyone else, we have to establish credibility first. Second, we have to demonstrate with logic, with statistics, it's not just an opinion, but it's something that can actually be backed up. And then the third thing we have to do is appeal to the heart, to the creative side of the brain, to the storytelling side of the brain that people relate to, by telling some stories that also back this up. If we do that kind of content for ourselves and others, using the 3 pillars of persuasion, we will be more effective in everything we do. So I'm Robert Sofia. My company is called Snappy Kraken, and I'm looking for great content developers So please come see me, introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you if in fact you are. Thank you.